think my dog just broke the window.
Alright, dude. Go trip over a knife.
My boy, my boy, my boy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Something's different here. Kay's not here. It's really just Riah. Oh my god. A lot has been going on. We haven't been here in a while. I'm back. It's been like 6 months. And I'm back. Kay's actually at work and she's like always working. So basically I'm just here to update you about what the hell has been going on in our lives and why we've been gone for so long, what's happening right now in our lives, and what we plan to happen soon in our lives. I don't know. Basically, first off, let's just say sorry because we haven't been here in so long and you guys have probably we had a really big following right before we stopped recording. It was kind of shitty, but it was also a lot was happening. So yeah. Let me just get into what has been happening. I don't remember the last video we posted. I don't really know how long ago that was because it's I don't even know what month it is right now or the day. I just know it's Monday, so that's pretty good. At least I know that. I think it was August, and that was a long time ago. So that's amazing. My dogs are outside right now and they're barking, so that might get annoying, which is fine. I ended up getting a promotion at my old job, hence how I said old. So in March, I got a job out here in the city that I live in, and I ended up working there for four months. I ended up getting a promotion to a job that I always wanted. But I've worked in this position before, just not obviously at this job. Pretty stoked. And I actually got asked to do this job. I didn't actually want to do this job because of how shitty that part of our center was. A whole different shift. It was a night shift. And Kay works during the day. So it was kind of I don't really want to not see her, but whatever. The final day, literally the last day to apply for the position, I ended up applying for it. It was my last hour of work and I ended up applying for it. I ended up applying for it and then I got the job. Or no, I had an interview and then I got the job. Now, I started that job and I thought I was gonna love it. And honestly, I work with kids, so I love my kids. No matter where I work, I literally love them. I will literally sacrifice my life for all these kids. All of them were the ones that were complaining to me about how shitty this part of the center was. And I don't do this for the money because the raise was literally $100 more on my paycheck. And that's all fun and dandy, but at the end of the day, working at night to deal with what I dealt with for $100 more really wasn't fucking worth it. Staff weren't fucking with me at all. Honestly, I had 2 staff that actually were genuinely cool. Apparently all their little friends this position and then they didn't get it, so they were pissed that I got it over their little friends. And then literally shit hit the fan the 3rd week. They genuinely didn't want to do their job. I literally had expectations that my boss told me to tell them, and they literally were no. Can you walk in the door on time? And they're just no. I'm just gonna come in whenever I want, or I'm just gonna leave whenever I want, or I'm just not gonna fucking show up. So that's what I was dealing with. Didn't want to do anything. Basically did most of it myself with 2 other people. And that sounds like a lot of people, but it really wasn't because it was so inconsistent. The people were just so inconsistent, which wasn't their fault. It was just the schedule fault. It was already shitty, but my supervisor never trained me. Fast forward, an incident happened there. A simple thing, a place I wasn't supposed to bring these people, and I brought them there. I owned up to it. I was listen, I didn't even know we couldn't even be in there. If I got trained, I would have known, and I wouldn't even have this fucking problem. If it was just communicated, I would have never fucking went in there to begin with. The situations had just been happening and happening. My staff were literally just saying fuck you every single day. As a supervisor, I had the right to deal with my staff, but I wasn't allowed to, which was so backwards. My supervisor would not let me deal with my staff, would not, especially when they were doing things that were completely against rules, complete blatant insubordination. I was not allowed to say anything to them. Technically that area is my own area, so technically I should be able to do that stuff, but she wasn't having it from jump. And I was all right, cool, great. So I went to another person that works there and I'm yo, supportive whatsoever. I could be hey, I need this cleaned, and I'll tell my staff this needs to be cleaned because it's expected, it's in your job description, and they blatantly won't do it. I'll talk to them about it. Doesn't happen again. Go to my supervisor. I'm hey, what are the steps to dealing with people who don't do their job? Because I wasn't trained. There was no booklet. I didn't get my booklet of rules the 2nd month in, I think. The 1st month? Yeah, the 2nd month in. So it took a whole 2 months for me to get that. So this other person that works there, and I'm hi, I actually went to 3 people. One of them was like the former person that was in that position before, and homeboy tried to like give me advice, but like low key he was best friends with all these other people that worked under me. So like they were all like doing their own thing behind the scenes, and that's like another part to the story that I'm gonna make a whole story time about this, because this is just kind of like the synopsis. I ended up going to this other person. I'm like, yo, like I don't want to go above this person, my supervisor, because I was warned that she likes to retaliate against people. And the problem with that was, like, first of all, that's illegal. You just do your job. No one will have to go above you and ask a question. Plain and simple. I ended up going above her, and she's like, oh yeah, like taking my side. She's like, yeah, I heard that about her. She doesn't like when people sideswipe her, verbatim sideswipe her or go above her. But it's good that you're coming to me because you need to know what to be trained on, so that when your 90 days come up, you can get rehired. Like, great. So like give me the advice so I can go and take it, or give me a paper that tells me like these are the expectations. Like the job description itself is so vague. It's so vague. You walking back into work thinking I'm not going to be retaliated against. I give it like 2 days later. It was like the weekend. I come into work and I have a meeting with my supervisor. She has this attitude, like, so this is what we're going to do. This area of the center is is the first thing on the list. I'm like, that's great. Like, how come you didn't want to have this meeting with me before I went above you? Whatever. I was like, cool, you're going to have a meeting with me. So like, finally we can get shit done. Like, I was only worried about those kids. I didn't give a crap about anything else and anybody's drama there and being friends with anybody. Like, I wasn't working there to be friends with anybody. And the problem with this whole place is that everybody's friends with each other. Everybody that works there. They have a group chat with people from the higher aboves, like literally group chats with these people. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's cute. But it's like, I don't work here for you people. So ever since that day, she literally treated me like shit. Like, I would talk to her, I would ask her questions. She'd give me like attitude every single day. Like, literally every single day. I would go and report, like, if my staff did something, she'd be like, yeah, we'll handle it. Like 3 weeks later, nothing was done. Now this happened like over and over with the same staff. So that was cool. So I'm like, all right, great headache. I would find out that like her and the other staff would be talking to that guy that I was telling you about that used to be in that position before about me and all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, like we're all grown. Like if you have something to say it to me. Don't say it to this person. Don't say it to that person, whatever the case is. But during all that, I found out my dad was really sick. So it was the last 2 weeks of his life, and I had accrued vacation time and sick time from working there for the last like 8 months. I don't live close to my house, so like I had to go back home to go be with him. I was with him every single day for the last 2 weeks of his life, and I was trying to communicate with my supervisor like what was happening. She was like unresponsive, like would not respond to me at all. And I was like in the hospital, like emailing, text, because that's my job. Like the last thing I needed to worry about while being in the hospital with my dying father was like, oh, I don't have a job when I go back. Out of nowhere, that middle of that week, I get a text, because it was like Halloween. I get a text like, oh, hey, where are the pumpkin carving things? And I'm like, so you can text me about this, but you can't answer my emails. You can't answer my texts about like, hey, this is what's happening, or nothing. Like, all I needed you to be like was, hey, I'm getting your messages. Like, thank you for communicating with me. So I know that you're reading them. Like, don't act like you're not reading my stuff, but you're gonna text me about some pumpkin carving stuff. So I'm like, all right, awesome. So I told her where it was, and I was annoyed. Then I emailed her and the people above her, because I'm like, she's not responding. Like, I need to make sure that like she's not trying to play me. Like, I finally get a response, and they're like emailing me, and they're like, oh, just keep contacting your supervisor. Keep contacting your supervisor. I'm like, okay, great. Like, I will, but she's not answering me. So like, who am I talking to? Crazy thinking about it right now, but like that's what was happening, and I was trying to deal with all that. That same week that she didn't respond to me, she sent an email like scheduling me to go train in a whole different state after I sent like 6 emails saying that like I needed to be close to my hometown. So I responded to that email. I didn't say yes, I didn't say no. All I said was thank you. I ended up going to my job that day. The day I was scheduled to go to the other state, I ended up going to my job because I had to go back to the hospital that day. Dad decided that he wanted to no longer have treatment or anything. So he could have passed away that day or the next day. So I ended up telling him, I was like, I gotta go. But when I got there, I have everybody ask me, why am I not in this state? Why am I not in this other state? Training, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, honestly, number one, I forgot. Like, that was a real mistake on my behalf. Like, it was real bad. But at the same time, it's like, why would you schedule me to go to a whole nother state after I told you multiple times that I need to be close to my home because my dad is dying? Again, it was her pissed off that I went above her months prior to that. So I'm like, great. And I go to HR, and I'm like, hey, like, I have the time to take off, whatever. And we're like, we did the math, and I did. I had all the time to take off that I needed for the rest of that week. Leave. I get a call from that person, my supervisor, and they're like, all of a sudden I don't have the time to take off. Now on the website where it said I had the time to take off, it literally had it right there saying I had the time to take off. And they're like, oh, well, it doesn't update until your pay period or whatever they said. And I'm like, that's great, but like I still have the time. Even if it did update, even with that time process, I would have had time. So they try to play me. So I'm like, all right, great. Well, like either way, like I'm back in my hometown with my dad right now. Like I had already driven all the way back home. My supervisor on the thing was like, oh, well, now it's gonna be an attendance issue and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm not on vacation taking this time off to go sit at the beach and have the time of my life. Like I'm literally going to the hospital every day, every morning and every night to go be with my dad. Like I don't understand. Like I just didn't understand. Then on that Friday, my dad ended up passing away. And I had to go into work that day. So I went in earlier that day to make a complaint about how my supervisor had been treating me. I sat down in there and big boss goes, I'm sorry to have to say this to you, but like, we send up your termination papers up to corporate and we're waiting for them to get approved or disapproved. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, and like this, at this point, like it was the same day my dad died. Like literally 4 hours after I found out, like I went to work to like submit my complaint because like I had enough of all the bullshit that they were putting me through for those 2 weeks. Like it was complete utter bullshit, and anyone that was around me literally was a witness of like I was literally hyperventilating in the hospital, like crying. And I was like, okay, why? And she said like, oh, because of a situation that happened like months ago that was already concluded. And I'm like, because of that situation that happened months ago that literally could have been prevented if you guys just gave me the information I needed to not be in a place. Like it was just crazy to me. And I was like, all right, that's awesome. Like then I'm sitting there and I'm like, first of all, like if I'm not getting fired right now, like I'm confused why you just told me that you sent my papers up to corporate. Like there's no reason for you to tell me, and by law that's illegal. Right. And then she proceeded to tell me, you know, I've had staff that had miscarriages and were still able to come into work. And I'm like, okay. First of all, I would never take someone's trauma and like belittle it and like compare it to somebody else's trauma. That has nothing to do with me. Like whoever had that miscarriage, that has nothing to do with me. Maybe that person dealt with it better. Maybe that person didn't really deal with it and you guys were up her ass and like same thing, you know, but that has nothing to do with me or my situation right now. Like nothing. HR was sitting right there, didn't even stop that conversation, literally agreed with her and was like, and I'm like, okay, awesome. So like you both don't know how to do your job. The thing about me is like I'm very nice, I'm very respectful until you cross me the wrong way and you try to disrespect me or belittle my knowledge or anything. Like I'm not some dumb little girl. I go and I walk out and I needed like a minute because like my dad just died, number one, and then this chick just threw out my face that she's trying to fire me now because of a situation that happened months ago that was already concluded. So now she's trying to bring up old stuff, like, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like crying. She's like, I need to like escort you out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like walking out and like, mind you, there's kids everywhere. So it's like, I went to that room to try and calm down before all these students saw me like a hot mess because like I was a hot mess. And I wasn't like throwing stuff. I wasn't swearing nothing. I was just crying. So she's like, after she told me, she's like that they're trying to fire me. She's like, but we still expect you to do your scheduled shift tomorrow and the day after that and next week. And by Tuesday, we should know if the papers are like approved or not. I'm like, okay, so you're escorting me out of here, but I'm not fired. You still want me to come into my scheduled shift, but you just intimidated me and threatened to fire me because of a situation that happened months ago with no backing, with nothing. Awesome. So I come in the next day and I go to work. I can't deal with this anymore because every day I was finding out something new about another staff talking shit about me, saying that I just met my dad this year and like why should I be mad or sad that my dad died, like all this crazy stuff, like all these things that like were just so insane to me. And like HR herself is like upset why she wants my compassion or she wants me to feel bad for her because she just met her dad this year. I'm like, first of all, you don't know anything about my fucking life to assume something about my life to say what you're saying, and I never even told you about my life. So like who are you as HR to make a conclusion about one of your staff's life and then go around and say shit like that? I ended up getting fired from this place. Same chick, HR, was like, I take my job very seriously. Really though, do you really take your job seriously when a staff comes to you about complaints and things that are happening in that center and you're doing nothing about it? Are you taking your job seriously? Or are you upset because I don't take shit from you guys? Or are you upset because I spoke up for myself because all those other people are scared of you guys for I don't know what reason to stick up for themselves? Like, I'm not that person. I'm not that one. I'm not there for friends. I don't want to be any of your friends. Like, that's not what I was there for. I was there for those kids. So for you to sit there and say that you take your job seriously, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, man. People go to you in hopes, as staff go to you, and even students go to you in hopes of you fixing something for them, and you didn't do that. multiple times, even when I was working there, before I even complained to you about my supervisor. You're the same chick that sat there and was like, yeah, that lady, she doesn't like when people go above her head. She doesn't like when people sideswipe you. But you're HR though, right? So if you took your job seriously, you already had that dealt with before I even got fired. None of you people take your job seriously because all the things that happen in that place is so illegal. And it's like, and so morally wrong and ethically wrong and legally wrong, like legally wrong. So whatever, I ended up getting fucking fired from this job. Now, this happened literally like 3 weeks ago. So I'm jobless right now. So that was also awesome. And then I got sick. Well, then I had my dad's funeral that weekend. So I had that funeral and then I got fired that following one. And then I ended up getting sick. So I've been sick for like a while. And then my girlfriend ended up getting sick. Today I ended up going to look for actually the people that like run my facility. And then I ended up finding a whole different company in their old building. And well, whole different like business, not company. And it's like some girl that like opened a spa. Actually was like mad cool. And she was just like, yeah, I just opened this place. Like inspection just walked out and I just got approved. Like, and she was really happy. And I was like, oh my God, like everything happens for a reason. Universe works in mysterious ways. And I just walked in here and I was like kind of really pissed off still. And then she offered me a job. So I'm like, wow. She's like, I love your energy. I love how open-minded you are and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know, I really needed that because like I just had these people like literally deteriorate my life, like my mental space. Like I was having anxiety attacks driving to that place every day. Like I love those kids, but like I couldn't be there. Like I couldn't function there. Like it was terrible. And I walked into this place and this place was just like so happy. Like, you know, they're like, oh, I love your energy. Like, I love how you talk. I love how you carry yourself. Like the way you just walked in here with so much confidence, all this stuff. Not even knowing that spa was in there. Like I didn't even know I was about to get a job, like, or get a job offered to me, you know? So I was just like, wow, like this is awesome. You know, like good things, shitty things happen for a reason, for good things to come out of it. And like I said it, like the day I got fired, I'm like, minor setback, major comeback. Like I did, like I definitely did feel bad for myself for a day. Like I was heated. Always do these nice things for people and always am I giving to people and doing this for people to just get fucked by people that like aren't genuine about their job and aren't genuine about their life and like will be so fake just for a paycheck. But then I started talking about my music and all that stuff. So side note, another thing that's been going on is I've been working really, really hard on my music. December 13th is the day that I'm going to release my single and I can't wait. I'm actually having a music video. I'm having my photo shoot in like 2 weeks, I think. I'm really excited for a lot of my friends and family to be a part of that. I actually ended up writing like 4 more songs and they're bangers, honestly. Like I can't wait to release all my stuff because yeah. So yeah, music's coming and I'm working my ass off to just be where I want to be because like a year from now, I don't want to be in the same predicament and I have major goals for myself and I'm gonna, I definitely want to reach my goals, you know? Yeah. I think my dog just broke the window. That's awkward. Yeah, so I can do a whole story time about that. So if you guys want that, definitely comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I promise you guys, I'll be making more story time since I'm home right now. And I'll keep you guys updated. Right now, it's probably just going to be me because Kay's super busy. She's working 2 jobs and doing school. So shout out to her. Round of applause. Working her ass off. So that's what's going to be going on. So it's going to be me for a little bit. Thank you guys for coming back if you came back. And thank you guys for like riding this shit out with me and thugging it out because I promise you guys from a year from now, I'm not going to be in this position and I'm going to be somewhere that I always wanted to be. And all the people that have been negative towards me, saying their little comments behind my back, my friends that haven't been supportive for me through all this shit that's been going on, people that I used to call my friends, all those things. And like my dad's watching above me. The reason why I got into the recording the music and he's the one who connected me with all these celebrities and all these people that have just been guiding and supporting me through this stuff. So I'm really lucky and I don't really have anything to be upset about. So I really should get the fuck over myself. Yeah, so thank you guys. Love you guys. And